Hi, my name is Jamey Schrier. Today, I want to ask you a question. Should you be staying in the day-to-day operation? What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to persuade you today. That's right. I'm going to persuade you of why your practice needs you out of the day-to-day operations. Before we dive into kind of some of that stuff and what it means, I want to share with you first, when I say operate without you, I'm not saying you're leaving, going on a year vacation. That's not what's happening. When I say operate without you, what I really mean is you're not in the day-to-day delivery of care. Patient calls your office. Patient comes into your office. Patient is seen by a therapist. Documentation, billed properly, collected money. That whole cycle of the patient getting the care, paying for the care, none of that should be done by you. Let me explain why. You will always and forever be the bottleneck if you stay in your operation. In other words, nothing is going to get done on a consistent way. And if you're smiling right now, you probably know what I mean, right? A consistent way with you in there. If you hire a clinical director, it's not going to matter if you're there treating, because you're the owner. You supersede the director. They'll never feel like they truly own it. Well, what should you be doing? You're the visionary, right? You're looking at growth. You're looking at opportunities, revenues, making strategic decisions, supporting your team, becoming a better mentor. Those are the things that will help your practice thrive. You in the business ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna work the same way. It never has. Number one, owner dependency kills the business value. So got some research for you. Research found that businesses that are highly dependent on the owner are up to 50% valued less than those with a strong management team and autonomous operation. What does that mean? If you're in the business and you eventually go to sell it, your business is going to be valued less than if someone was not in the day-to-day and still had the other things that a business needs. The business can't run without you. It's less valuable because then you're going to have to come with the business, or I'm going to pay you less for it. So if you want to just walk away from the business, then I can't guarantee that the success of the business is going to stay. You see, when I had my practice and I sold my business for 66% more than a company my size, and I was 1.4 million, so I wasn't the biggest thing in the world. Company my size, I sold it for 2/3 more. And the reason I did, and the reason that the broker and the buyer told me so, is because, Jamey, you're not involved in the day-to-day. In other words, this business could just be turned over as long as your team stayed, as long as your processes stayed, of course they would, the business would actually be more valuable. And I got a check, well, not a real check, but money transferred, and I walked away from the business. The only thing I really did was stay on as a consultant if they needed me. Guess what? In 6 months, they never called me once. Your revenue is eventually going to cap. Your ability to grow and scale, if you will, and generate revenue, it's gonna have to cap, because all the decisions are going through you while you're in the business. You're only going to be able to handle so much, and you're going to be completely overwhelmed. What happens when you go on vacation? I can tell you so many business owners don't go on vacation much, or they time it around holidays. I'm one of them. Want to hear something crazy? We purposely got married. My wife wanted a June wedding, and I was like, June wedding, perfect. I go, can we do it as close to the end of June as possible? And she said, why? Because July 4th holiday. And if we get married and go on a honeymoon around the holiday, I won't miss as many days in the year. Can you believe that? I know it's pretty smart, but it's pretty insane too at the same time. This is my marriage. We're starting our marriage. We're starting our relationship together. And I'm more worried about trying to be there at the practice. But that's what we did. And I've seen other people not just do that. I've seen people not go on vacation for years, not take their kids away, not go on with their spouse, not have some personal retreats, nothing. Because the business revolves around them too much. And if they go away, what happens? They make less money. Or sometimes worse, staff can't handle it. They don't know what it's like to work without you. So you walk away and your biggest fears comes true because they were never trained how to do it without you. Number two, burnout and stress. So burnout and stress leads to terrible decision making, and people get fed up and they want to leave. They want to quit. I want to sell. I want to close down, right? We see it when employees are being overworked, but owners too. We get burned out from this stuff. We get burned out because we're in the business. We got a million fires and questions coming after us. We still try to maintain a schedule. We're still trying to be the director, the manager, and do that stuff, which you know you hate. I'll tell you, business owners are the worst managers in the world. I know I am. That's not our role. Our role isn't manager. Our role is owner. Let me give some more research for you. This is from the AMA, American Medical Association. Found that over 60% of healthcare businesses, including our businesses, business owners experience burnout. 60%. Let's face it, we know that's more. But the owner overload being the primary factor. In other words, you as the business owner, you just got too much stuff going on. And yes, some people say, well, that's just the way it is. You're an owner. It all comes through you. That's a bunch of BS. That is not the case. Look, being in the weeds 24/7 is not some badge of honor, right? Especially if you're not even making money. Now, you and I both know, we know people that make a ton of money, but are working 24/7. And I guess their justification is, well, if I could just do this for another 5 or 10 years, I'll sock enough money away and, maybe then I'll be happy. But why not have both now? Why not have this amazing business, this vehicle that could produce income for you and have the time to enjoy it? Here's the other thing, chronic stress, right? You're familiar with the amygdala, little emotional trigger in your brain. When emotion is high, intelligence is low. When we're stressed out, we make bad decisions. It's a fact. We make bad decisions no matter how great you think you're making a decision. It isn't great. And those decisions then lead us down the bad paths that cause a lot of frustration. When you're just overwhelmed in doing everything and trying to spin the plates, juggle the balls, man, you're not going to be able to last in that. It's going to take a toll mentally, physically, and shorten careers. When owners are able to step back and put the processes in place, put good people in place, make sure the financials are in good place, you're just in a better place to be able to see what's going on in your business, make better decisions, and build and grow this thing without being overwhelmed. Number 3, creating a system-driven practice. System-driven practices generate higher revenue and long-term stability. Practices that are driven with solid systems, yes, good teams in place too, but solid systems are going to outperform ones that are just the owner struggling to just keep things moving. Businesses that prioritize systems, delegation, automation grow 30 to 50% faster than those relying on a single leader. So doesn't mean you can't have a small practice. I've had a small practice. I told you my practice wasn't huge, 1.4 million at its peak, but it had systems. I was able to delegate, had a good team in place, and I had technology helping me out, automation. Systems create predictable results. Having structured leadership and operations allows for expansion, additional locations, and premium exit strategy when you're ready. When the owner begins to remove themselves from the day-to-day, actually have a bigger buy-in with employees. You have greater retention. You have greater productivity, greater engagement. That's what happens when you stop becoming the bottleneck and start to open up so things can flow. I got a bonus one. I promised you 3. I got you 4. 4 is my favorite. Freedom. When you stop becoming the bottleneck, move yourself away from this day-to-day stuff, get good people in place, get systems in place. You have time, but you also have money. And when you combine time and money, you got freedom. You got choice. You can have a lot of money and be trapped in a business. I know lawyers that work 80 hours a week, make a ton of money, and they're miserable. Oh yeah, and they have health problems. But I know far too many people that are broke and they're working their butts off. That's not fair. But this isn't about fair. This is about helping you get out of the day-to-day so you can build this business, this amazing thing that you've created to be able to have the life that you want, but you're also making it better for everyone else. Everyone wins. That's the beauty of this. Everyone wins when you make the decision to let go and step out. You got to shift from being that operator to being that owner, that strong leader. Create repeatable systems in place, having a self-sustaining practice that can continue to grow. And if you do this, you're going to increase your business's value. You're going to increase the longevity of your staff. You're going to be able to help more people in your community. And you're also going to make more money, and you are going to have more time and more fun and more enjoyment. How is that? Did I persuade you? I hope so, because you absolutely deserve it. So hopefully you got one nugget, one idea, maybe a little bit of inspiration. The next step is to put something in place. And if you haven't already, first thing you can do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get more advice and tips and Jamey's perspective around various things that have to do with building and growing a business and creating the life that you want. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time.